action, helping their fellow riders that were injured in this until first responders, until help arrived.
Nobody died, but more than 15 people were hurt. 10 of them with gunshots wounds, 5 of those critical but not life-threatening. President Biden has been updated about the Brooklyn subway incident. He's expected to have remarks about it momentarily. CBS News special report. I'm Tom.
CBS News time is 12:51. San Francisco District Attorney Chase Boudin and his counterpart in LA are accusing a San Diego-based law firm of going after California businesses using fraudulent disability rights suits. The suits are all settled in this firm. All businesses like family-owned restaurants and these case in court would cost much more. More KCBS Molly Kwan and Eric Thomas spoke with KCBS insider Phil McKeer.
So Phil, this sounds like a good idea as far as trying to go after this law firm. They've been doing this for a while now, but it does come as Boudin is facing recall.
Yes, it does. Chester Boudin is facing a recall. George Gascon in Los Angeles is facing a possible recall over their progressive judicial reform policies that don't favor locking people up for long periods of time. And one of Chase's most vulnerable areas is among Asian American voters. So yeah, every announcement like this carries a certain bit of politics, and this is no exception. What he's trying to do is say that, look, I'm trying to do something for small businesses. I don't know, how far he's going to get. He and George Gascon are filing civil suits. This isn't a criminal action because while what this law firm, Potter Handy, is doing down in San Diego is maybe unethical and unseemly, it's largely legal in California. It's a product of two laws. One is the ADA law, Americans with Disability Act, which is a federal law that was passed in 1990 that said, you've got to have your businesses and workplaces being handicap compliant. If you're not, well, you're violating the law. But they didn't assign an agency to enforce it. Instead, it's up to, disabled people and their attorneys. If they want to sue, they can sue. You can't get money out of the federal lawsuit, but California has a law that allows for you to seek damages. And so what happens is, let's say you're a small restaurant or a small business, somebody comes by, checks you out, takes a couple of photos, says, your entrance isn't handicap accessible, your chairs don't make the right move with the table, where's the bathroom? And you get a letter, and you have a choice. You can either settle for, say, $10,000 or pay up to $50,000 to $100,000 fighting it. It's, robbing people with a fountain pen in a way.
Yeah, well, as you mentioned, though, they're finding people or coaching people to go find these problems, which is not the way the law was intended.
No, well, Eric, intention of the law and the practice of the law are two different things. You get a rule, you read it anyway. But you're absolutely right. One client, filed 1,700. Another one filed 800. The spokesman for the firm, Potter Handy, told the Chronicle that, this is politically motivated. That Gascon and Boudin are in trouble and they're trying to make points, and that they haven't broken the law. Well, the law is how you read it, and in this case, you read it, and then you pay.
We'll be back with Patty and Chris this afternoon at 5:50. Time to get to your Money Watch report. Here's Joe Donaker.
Gas prices drove us to the highest inflation in 41 years, an 8.5% jump year over year in March, and Uber and Lyft may be starting to feel the pinch. They've already slapped fuel charges on customers and have cut back the big bonuses they gave drivers when they were begging for drivers last year. Now Dow Jones says some drivers are quitting because they're not making enough money to spend all that time driving. With the price of vacations going up, you may want to pay closer attention to what you're actually paying. The Wall Street Journal says cleaning fees and short-term rentals can add hundreds of dollars to a trip, and some guests say they feel duped when they book a place with an attractive nightly rate and then find out they have to pay hundreds of dollars in added fees before they check out. Oil prices again surged back above $100 a barrel, settling 60 cents higher than that mark. Investors decided to take back gains, with the Dow down 189, the Nasdaq 86, the S&P 30. Joe Donaker, Bloomberg Business for KCBS.
Find what you love at the Mila Innovation Center at Friedman's Appliance in Pleasant Hill. Out of your dreams and into your kitchen. Select a qualifying built-in kitchen appliance package that is right for you, with unrivaled technology and luxury-grade quality. When you bring home a Miele, you're bringing home true innovation. Now, for a limited time, save up to $1,800 with a purchase of a qualifying Miele appliance package. Visit the Miele Innovation Center at Friedman's Appliance in Pleasant Hill or at Friedman's Appliance DashCam.com.
Finally ready to entertain? Excited to have friends and family over for a barbecue? But worried your backyard isn't up to par? No problem. Call Mr. Pavers. Mr. Pavers can transform your backyard into your own personal paradise. Get outside, enjoy the sunshine, fresh air, and nature in your own private sanctuary. From backyard patios, full decks, outdoor kitchens, and driveways, Mr. Pavers can design and create your dream hardscape. And you'll be surprised how affordable it is without sacrificing quality. Mr. Pavers is Diamond certified and an ICPI installer. Book a job before the end of the month, and you'll receive 20% off and free demolition. Call Mr. Pavers at 833-MR. Pavers. That's 833-MR. Pavers. Or go to MrPavers.com. Make your outdoor space as comfortable and stylish as your interior with Mr. Pavers. Call right now, 833-MR. Pavers. That's 833-MR. Pavers. Or go to MrPavers.com today. Get out of the house and enjoy all your beautiful outdoor living space has to offer with Mr. Pavers.
April 15th is right around the corner, and if it's been a few years since you filed your last tax return, or you still owe taxes you cannot afford to pay, valuable legal rights are at stake, and now is the time to act. I'm tax attorney Robert Goldstein, and my firm's legal practice is dedicated to helping individual and small business taxpayers resolve their tax problems. We specialize in preparing past due returns, even if you have no records, offers and compromise, audits, offshore amnesty disclosure, and bankruptcy for taxes and other debts. With over 22 years in practice, we offer our clients knowledgeable and aggressive representation. The law offices of Robert Goldstein is a local firm with offices throughout the Bay Area, and we always offer a free consultation. If you want to resolve your back tax issues this tax season, give us a call, toll-free, 1-888-TAX-EXIT. That's 888-TAX-EXIT. 888-TAX-EXIT, and make us your last stop.
There are two types of journeys in life. There are those we choose to take, and those that life takes us on. From moments we'll never forget, to those we must overcome. I'm Tim McGraw. Join American Airlines and Stand Up to Cancer in our efforts to help make every person diagnosed with cancer a long-term survivor. Visit standuptocancer.org/American Airlines to learn more. Stand up with us.
Wrapping up your 12 o'clock hour with a look at your drive from your local Honda dealer's traffic center. Here's Victor.
In Fremont on 680 northbound, it is just a mess before you even get to Mission Boulevard South. That's how far you're backed up now. There's a crash that's blocking the middle lane. Thank you to Kelly to call the KCBS phone for us on details that the truck is facing the wrong way in the middle lane. You are getting by the left and the right lane, but it's also affecting Mission Boulevard as far as streetwise. A lot of people do jump between 880 and 680 on Mission Boulevard. That is just solid in between there. You're backing up all the way to 880 as well. You may want to consider from 880 taking Automall Parkway over to 680. You'll bypass the incident there, and that'll be a whole lot easier to get around. Once you actually do pass that, if you are in that back, it's a smooth ride all the way into Pleasanton. And if you're coming into San Francisco, looks like it's a very smooth ride on 80 westbound from the Toll Plaza all the way into the downtown area. You are clearing at the speed limit. Your next traffic update at 108 on the traffic leader, KCBS.
This is Victor. KCBS forecast is sunny and cold this afternoon. Mostly because of that breeze we still have sticking with us, even if it has died down a bit from yesterday. Temperatures today still mid-50s, low 60s, a clear night, and then tomorrow cloudier. That's because we're expecting some rain to come in the evening. Traffic and weather together on KCBS. It is Tuesday, April 12th, 2022, coming up on KCBS.
I'm Marty Schaefer at the Bart Powell Street Station, where patrols are increased in the wake of the New York subway shooting.
Hard to say. It's a team effort.
I'm Jennifer Hodges on the campus of San Jose State University, where an exhibit of backpacks is shining a light on mental health.
And the U.S. still hasn't confirmed the use of chemical weapons in Ukraine. And for Rebecca Corral, I'm Megan Goldstein. CBS News is next.
When you need to know, KCBS AM, KFRC FM, and HD1, San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose, and Odyssey Station.
1 o'clock.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Linda Kenyon in Washington. Comedian and legend Gilbert Gottfried has died.
I was a little boy. If my father bought me a baseball, I would have made out with.
Comedy legend was announced today. His family said they are heartbroken to announce the passing of the beloved Gilbert Gottfried after a long illness.
New York City police are searching for a masked gunman who opened fire on a subway car, injuring at least 16 people. CBS's Matt Piper reports from Brooklyn, New York.
At the scene here in Brooklyn, there have been hundreds of police officers since this shooting around 8:30 this morning. NYPD Commissioner Kashant Sewell.
An individual on that train donned what appeared to be a gas mask. He then took a canister out of his bag and opened it. The train at that time began to fill with smoke. He then opened fire, striking multiple people on the subway.
The shootings and smoke bomb going off led to dozens of people being injured.
I was coming up the stairs and I smelled a lot of smoke. And coming up the stairs, I saw maybe a 16-year-old that was shot in the knee. You can clearly see the bullet.
The NYPD is looking at surveillance from nearby businesses here as it's believed the man exited the subway system. He has not been seen since. Matt Piper, CBS News, Brooklyn, New York.
New York Mayor Eric Adams says the search for the gunman was hampered by the fact that a security camera at the subway station that might have captured the scene was not operating at the time. The U.S. is working to confirm the use of chemical weapons in Mariupol, Ukraine. Pentagon spokesman John Kirby.
The Russians have certainly proven more than willing to use chemical weapons when it suited them in the past. And this is a military that has a history here.
Russia, meanwhile, continues to step up and narrow airstrikes to focus on the eastern part of Ukraine. Continue to expect paying a little bit more as inflation tops a more than 40-year high.
Gasoline up 48% over the past year. Fuel oil up 70%. Electricity is up 11%. And food is up 8.8% since March of last year.
Bankrate.com senior economist and analyst Mark Hamrick. The White House has a plan to deal with those higher fuel prices, at least in the short term.
President Biden will announce that the EPA is going to allow the sale of gas that uses a 15% ethanol blend to be sold during the busy summer travel season. Now, that fuel is usually banned in the summer because of air quality concerns.
And that is CBS's Anne-Marie Green. Recapping our top story, Gilbert Gottfried, comedy legend, has died after a long illness. This is CBS News.
Get CBS News Radio on the Odyssey app. All the audio that matters to you is on Odyssey. News, music, sports, and podcasts. Download the Odyssey app today.
It's 1:03 at the Bay Area's news station KCBS. A clear, breezy afternoon. Good afternoon in for Rebecca Corral. I'm Megan Goldsby. Here's what's happening. BART officials are increasing patrols on the transit system in the wake of the shooting in the New York subway this morning. At least 10 people were shot, 6 others injured when a gunman in a gas mask filled a rush hour subway train with smoke and then opened fire in Brooklyn. The shooter is still at large. KCBS's Margie Schaefer reports from the Powell Street station in San Francisco, where the BART police chief calls the public a partner in keeping the train safe.
The increase in patrols on BART following the New York subway shooting included a number of ambassadors, those on special assignment, and BART's police chief, Ed Alvarez.
Myself and the deputy chief, we rode the trains out here this morning to increase our presence and lead by example, just putting everybody out there. So anybody that we can get a uniform on is out there this morning.
The New York subway shooting is unfortunate, but Alvarez stresses the BART system is safe.
Unfortunately, some of those situations when somebody's made their mind up to do something like that, it's going to be pretty difficult to stop or to prevent. The way we do it is through education and try to get people out into our system and let our riders know that if they see something to say something.
Previously, the transit system was criticized for having non-working surveillance cameras. That has been fixed. And there are 4,000 cameras on trains, platforms, and parking lots.
Surveillance cameras are very useful because it does add the time element to incidents.
BART actually has a full-time video recovery unit to help solve crime. In San Francisco, Margie Schaefer, KCBS.
President Joe Biden unveiled a new rule to crack down on so-called ghost guns by making it illegal for businesses to make gun kits without serial numbers and for licensed dealers to sell them without a background check. KCBS's Liz St. John has more.
Yesterday's event brought together mayors, police chiefs, national experts on community violence intervention, along with the president and vice president.
The feeling yesterday at the White House was very optimistic. It was even celebratory.
David Mohammed, executive director of the National Institute for Criminal Justice Reform in Oakland, was at the event and explained how COVID reversed an optimistic trend.
In the Bay Area, like throughout the country, gun violence has increased since the onset of the pandemic. We have seen this year some decreases from the grim milestones of last year, but we're still not where we were prior to the pandemic.
He wants to see a reduction in the number of all guns on the street and says there are ways to reduce criminal activity.
We have to do better getting back out into in-person, intensive, intentional, structured intervention with people who are at the very highest risk of gun violence.
Liz St. John, KCBS.
Send Silence Packing, that is the name of an exhibit today on the campus of San Jose State University. KCBS's Jennifer Hodges says it's to bring attention to mental health issues and just how prevalent suicide is among young people.
1,000 backpacks across the lawn here at San Jose State, each with a story attached.
It's been under a year since I lost my brother to suicide, but for him, it was 23 years of a long and brave journey with his mental illness.
Reading one of the stories, student Madison Manez helped organize the exhibit.
1 in 4 college students seriously consider suicide.
There's a stigma still associated with mental health, and so in certain cultures, it is often not openly talked about.
Kel Fujimoto is the Senior Director of Counseling and Psychological Services at San Jose State. The backpacks are a powerful reminder.
So we want people to talk about it. We want people to listen to each other and talk to one another. And we want people to get help and get connected to the professionals that can assist in helping individuals with mental health issues.
On the campus of San Jose State, Jennifer Hodges, KCBS.
KCBS News Time 1:07. Well, the Marin County Sheriff's Office has positively identified a body found in a car in Kentfield as that of a missing Mill Valley hiker. 62-year-old Jennifer Aronson was reported missing by family members late Sunday night. Yesterday evening, a body was found, and it did identify it as hers. It was inside a parked vehicle on South Redwood Road in Kentfield. Authorities say there's no obvious sign of any traumatic injuries or foul play. Just ahead on KCBS, the latest on inflation and the closing bell report. But first at 1:08, it's time to go to your traffic desk. We have Victor Saragosa watching your drive.
On the Richmond San Rafael Bridge, looking at a little bit of brake tapping. This is on the eastbound direction of 580. This traffic report is brought to you by Safeway. Just as you leave the San Quentin area, the looks like bridge work is picking up as we speak, so all them cones are being moved off the lanes. And you should be pretty much at the speed limit by the time you reach Midspan and into Richmond. On 80 westbound from Berkeley to the 580 interchange, you are definitely under the speed limit. Also in San Francisco, headed to the lower deck of the Bay Bridge, northbound 101 from Cesar Chavez to just as you get on the lower deck. There's still bridge work going on, by the way, with various lanes that are closed till 2 o'clock between San Francisco and Yerba Buena Island. But it looks like about a good half a mile on the lower deck. It's a smooth ride into the East Bay. Speaking of the East Bay and Fremont, we still have heavy traffic on 680 northbound just before you get to Mission Boulevard North. This has to do with a crash block in the middle lanes before you even get to Durham Road. Looks like Mission Boulevard, the actual city streets itself, it's still pretty heavy from right around Warm Springs Boulevard. Nowhere near the backup from earlier, was backed up to just about 880. You still may want to consider taking Automall Parkway between 880 and 680. You'll be able to bypass that incident with no problem. At Safeway, they partner with trusted top-quality growers for hand-picked fruits and vegetables harvested at the peak of flavor, from farm to you. Visit Safeway's produce department today and see how they're perfecting the art of fresh. Your next traffic update at 1:18 on the traffic leader, KCBS.
KCBS forecast, a sunny, breezy afternoon, mid-50s, low 60s, a clear, cool night, temperatures 30s and 40s, and then partly cloudy tomorrow with highs in the 60s and a much lighter wind. Slight chance of rain in the evening, building up after midnight tomorrow to a rainy Thursday morning commute. Traffic and weather together on the 8th on All News 106.9 and AM 740 KCBS.
Visit Shane Company for stylish jewelry you'll enjoy wearing every day. Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
Attention! Are you missing teeth? Bay Area Mini Dental Implant Center has a solution for you.
So I heard on the radio about Bay Area Mini Dental Centers of America. I have other implants that are really invasive. This is the first time I've had an implant that was painless and really, really less invasive. Was within an hour. The whole process was done after he put in the implant, and then I left. I came back for the crown. It was great. Thank you.
Replacing missing teeth is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Come to our free consultation and find out what we can do for you. Call Bay Area Mini Dental Implant Center at 833-GOT-MINI, 833-GOT-MINI. Inflation is up, but our prices stay the same for you until April. Call now. That's 833-468-6464 for a truly free consultation. Financing available.
You're in a big box bed store. Rows and rows of mattresses stretch out before you. They all look pretty much the same. Because they are pretty much the same. That's one of the reasons a little mattress store in Berkeley has been able to prosper for 50 years. They're different. Different because they use the finest European components, and they can't wait to show them to you. Find out for yourself at European Sleepworks, Adeline and Ashby in Berkeley, or online at sleepworks.com.
A Honda is more than just a vehicle. It's a gateway to spring adventure. Start your adventures with Honda. The brand owners are calling the most fun to drive. For a limited time, well-qualified buyers can get a 0.9% APR on a 2022 Honda HR-V and a 1.9% APR on a 2022 Civic or Accord. New vehicles are arriving daily at a local Honda dealer.
Start your spring adventure today at your Northern California Honda dealer.
See dealer for financing details. Exclude Civic SI 2021 ACSI survey of customers rating the performance of their own automobiles.
Time for your closing bell report, sponsored by Personal Capital. The best time to sort out your finances is now. From your first paycheck through retirement, Personal Capital can help. Visit personalcapital.com. The S&P 500 down 15 points, the Dow 30 down 87 points, and the Nasdaq down 40 points. KCBS News Time 1:11, sponsored by DuckDuckGo. Protect your privacy online for free with DuckDuckGo. Well, everything from gas to groceries is getting more expensive. The latest consumer price index shows the U.S. is experiencing the highest rate of inflation in 4 decades. KCBS's Matt Bigler has reaction from folks in the East Bay.
Tracy Slay knows a thing or two about gas prices and how they fluctuate from state to state.
So you just drove all the way here from Indiana?
Correct. Wow. She delivers RVs for a living and says her gas money goes a lot further outside of California. But what she's really concerned about are food prices.
Anything. Meat, if you can find it, because there's a shortage.
What have you noticed is more expensive these days? Gas.
Tom Bosserman is one of the few people not complaining about the price at the pump.
I'm very well off, and I can afford these price increases.
Consumer prices went up 8.5% last month, the highest increase in 40 years, according to the Labor Department. Leah Hartman, chair of Accounting, Finance, and Marketing at the University of New Haven, expects the Federal Reserve will raise interest rates even faster to counter inflation, which will affect borrowing for everyone.
If you're using your credit card, you're less likely to be using it as much and running up credit card bills, right? The interest rate, it gets to jump up pretty quickly.
In the East Bay, Matt Bigler, KCBS.
KCBS News Time 1:13, sports in 2 minutes.
At Prime Mail Medical, they understand how frustrating it can be to experience difficulties in your intimate life. Their mission is to provide you the medical care you need for improved performance.
At Prime Mail Medical, we have virtually every medication known to man to help men. We specialize in treatments for ED and low T, and we have a 99% success rate. Most impotence problems can be treated in just one visit.
That's Dr. Robert Rowley from Prime Mail Medical.
We offer a variety of treatments, including high-dose sublingual lozenges, ultrasound-based shockwave therapy, and injectable therapies. We can also treat testosterone issues when needed.
Prime Mail Medical in the East Bay and San Francisco. Get your customized evaluation for just $99, which covers a full year of free visits, including a PSA test, testosterone test, and ultrasound. Call now, 415-761-4037, or go to primemailmedical.com. That's 415-761-4037.
Mother's Day is coming, and so is the challenge. What do you give the mom that gave you everything? This Mother's Day, give the gift of a lifetime of memories, digitized forever. Hi, I'm Adam.
And I'm Nick. We started Legacy Box over a decade ago to simplify preserving footage of mom's wedding, your first steps, and all the milestone moments that made your mom, mom.
Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box to convert those meaningful moments.
Legacy Box is simple, safe, and affordable. Simply fill your Legacy Box with photos, film, and tapes. Our team of experts will do the rest.
Not to mention, you'll get back your originals and new digital copies on DVDs, thumb drive, or the cloud, ready to relive and share for generations.
Make your mom feel extra special this Mother's Day with what Real Simple calls the perfect gift.
Visit legacybox.com/value to get early access to our Mother's Day sale. That's legacybox.com/value for an unbelievable deal. legacybox.com/value.
Coming up on KCBS, we'll find out why we see a man in the moon as we look up at the night sky. It's 1:15. That is sports time. Here's Ted Ring.
It was the big surprise of the WNBA draft last night. The audio courtesy Kylan Mills of Cron 4. That was at the draft party for Stanford star Lexi Hull, expected to go in the second round when she was selected 6th overall by the Indiana Fever.
We felt like she was the best pure shooter with size in the draft, and she played at a high level, won a championship at Stanford, extremely gifted on both ends of the floor. She defends, she rebounds, she can handle the ball, just a lot of things about her that were multi-dimensional, and so we just didn't see anybody better if we wanted a great shooter.
That's Fever general manager Lynn Dunn, whose Fever had 4 picks in the first draft last night. Hull was the second Pac-12 player to come off the board behind Niara Sabali, who went to the New York Liberty. Hull had a remarkable career at Stanford, 1,402 points, 24th in program history for the Cardinal, and 191 three-pointers, which is 11th all-time for Stanford, more from Dunn.
And to be honest with you, I think there were some other teams, had we not taken her at 6, then we would have not gotten her at 10. So she was, maybe she was the surprise of the draft, but she wasn't a surprise to us.
In addition to helping Stanford win a national title last year, Hull is just one of 3 players in Stanford history to be named to the All-Pac-12 team 3 times. At the sports desk, Ted Ramey, KCBS.
You were lied to when buying a timeshare and worn out, you need my help. Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started the timeshare cancellation industry by exposing the ugly truth about timeshare and giving folks the straight facts. I've been fighting the timeshare giants ever since. So no one knows this industry better than me and my team. Today we have 383 employees and have saved our clients an average of $65,000 in lifetime payments. Imagine putting those timeshare dollars back in your pocket. If you were told at a timeshare presentation that this was available today and today only, that timeshare was a great investment, or your maintenance fees will never go up, call my office now. I guarantee you, we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-330-6363. 800-330-6363. 800-330-6363.
More stories. We've been beat up over the course of the last 2 years. It's time to start to feel good again. More coverage. At the beginning of this year, it was pretty quiet. But now, within the last couple of weeks, we've seen it start to come back, start to see a little uptick in that business. More depth. It's going to come back. It's going to take a little while. We're in it for the long term.
Get more right here on the Bay Area's #1 news station, KCBS.
We are first for traffic at 118. Victor, starting in San Francisco.
And looking at heavy traffic on northbound 101 just after Cesar Chavez, especially if you are headed to the lower deck of the Bay Bridge. This traffic report is brought to you by Hint Water. There's still bridge work going on until 2 o'clock, but once you're on the lower deck about mid-span, center Anchorage, from that point forward, it's smooth right into the East Bay. Speaking of the East Bay, heavy traffic still on 80 westbound from just before University Avenue to the 880-580 interchange. And much better news in Fremont. That crash that was blocking lanes on 680 northbound just past Mission Boulevard South has been cleared over to the right-hand shoulder. All lanes are open, and it looks like traffic is starting to recover. Hint is pure water infused with surprisingly true fruit flavors, including watermelon, blackberry, and cherry. No sugar, no sweeteners, no calories. Available in your local grocery store or at drinkhint.com. A Hint, water with a touch of true fruit flavor. Your next traffic update at 128 on the traffic leader, KCBS.
All right, this is not going to be a repeat of yesterday afternoon's winds. Tuesday afternoon, we'll see gusts up to 20 to 25 mile an hour tops. That's half of what it was yesterday. Good news there. Mainly noticeable along the water. Daytime highs in the upper 50s in the Bay and low 60s inland. We get more rain Wednesday night and Thursday morning. Really, it's Thursday morning. Widespread showers impacting the Thursday morning commute. We'll do that again Friday night into Saturday morning. Widespread showers on Saturday morning. Both systems give us about 1/10 to 2/10 of an inch of rain. Saturday system is done completely by Sunday. It'll be a much sunnier and nicer Easter Sunday with temperatures climbing to near average. I'm meteorologist Darren Peck with your KPIX 5 KCBS forecast.
Traffic and weather together on KCBS. Now CBS News.
CBS News special report. A morning rush hour subway shooting has New York police and its law enforcement partners on a major manhunt. Our reports start with CBS's Elise Preston.
At least 16 people were injured, 10 with gunshot wounds.
Police say there is no known motive at the time. The suspect was wearing a construction vest and gray sweatshirt when he fled the scene.
And police are now also looking for a truck they believe is connected to the subway shooting.
This van, this U-Haul truck, has Arizona plates. The number they are looking for is AL31408.
That is WCBS's Steve Scott from the head of the City Transportation Authority.
We saw New Yorkers in a difficult situation, an emergency, helping each other. That's the subway riders. That's who New Yorkers are. Every day they're showing people in the subway, which is our public space, that New Yorkers of all varieties can come together in small spaces and get along and create something bigger.
CBS News Special Report, I'm Tom Pody.
KCBS News Time 1:21. The new study looks at what's behind the moon's funny-looking craters and why the side of the moon we see looks so different from the side we don't. For more, we're joined on the KCBS Ring Central Newsline now by Sonia Tiku, paleomagnetist at Stanford University and co-author of the recent study. Thanks for joining us. I love that you guys wanted to answer this question. Why do we see the man in the moon? I'm sure I asked that when I was a kid, but the answer's quite different now. What have you found out?
Yeah, what we found is that whenever we look up at the moon, we see the white, bright, original crust of the moon, but there's also what we call the man in the moon, which is made up of a lot of really extensive, dark lava rocks, essentially, that erupted on the lunar surface billions of years ago. But the funny thing is that if you look at the other side of the moon, the one that does not face the Earth, that we never see in person, it doesn't look like that. We only have kind of the white original crust. So the question is, why is all the lunar volcanism on one side and not on the other side? And so what our study did, which was led by researchers at Brown University, and I collaborated on it, was we modeled what would happen if a large impact hit the opposite side of the moon from the dark lava flows. And there is actually a very large impact crater there. The oldest and largest crater on the moon is called South Pole Aitken Basin. It's about 2,500 kilometers across. It was formed whenever an object about 170 kilometers across hit the moon over 4 billion years ago. And we wanted to see how would the impact of that asteroid have changed the internal structure of the moon. And so what we found is that a large impact back then caused a bunch of heating in the interior of the moon, and it caused the inside of the moon to act like a lava lamp, where you have a bunch of hot material that rose from basically the core mantle boundary of the moon inside it, and that rose upward and pushed a layer of material that is very radioactive from the far side of the moon onto the near side of the moon. And all those radiogenic elements that condensed sort of on the near side of the moon facilitated a lot of heating and a lot of volcanism that leads to the man in the moon that we see today.
That is so interesting. I never would have known. I mean, I could have looked up pictures. That's how I picture it being all the way around. That is so fascinating. What does this teach us then about the moon or even about Earth?
What it teaches us is that large impacts early on in planetary history, so let's say the first billion years of a planet's history, can transform the internal conditions of a body. It can control what leads to volcanism on bodies, which in turn can lead to kind of the development of atmospheres, release of gases into the atmosphere, things like that. Basically, like, impacts can really stir up the insides of planets and make planets evolve in funny ways.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I love the research you've done here. Thank you so much for breaking it down for us. That's Sonia Tiku, a paleomagnetist at Stanford University, co-author of the recent study with Brown. It is time for your Money Watch. It is sponsored by Don'tInvestAndForget.com.
It was another down day on Wall Street as a rebound in oil prices reignited inflation fears. Bank shares led the retreat with first quarter earnings season about to start. Dow Industrials fell 88, the S&P lost 15, the Nasdaq tumbled 40. Optimism at U.S. small businesses fell in March to a nearly 2-year low. Soaring cost pressures were to blame, according to the National Federation of Independent Business. An indicator of a business outlook fell to the lowest level on record. Toyota is rolling out its first fully electric vehicle in 8 years. The BZ4X, small SUV, starts at $42,000. Go up to 252 miles on a charge. Oil ended higher after Russian President Vladimir Putin vowed to continue his invasion of Ukraine, and China partially eased its COVID-related lockdowns. Crude gained 6.7%, closing back above $100 a barrel. Larry Kofsky, Bloomberg Business for KCBS.
Security and advisory services offered through United Planners Financial Services. Member FINRA SIPC. Matucci & Associates and United Planners are not affiliated.
Do you wake up in the morning thinking, how can I better prepare for retirement? Probably not. Brian Sussman here, and I know some folks who are always thinking about helping people like you prepare for retirement. That's Vitucci and Associates, local folks here in the Bay Area that I've known for many years. With all that's going on in the world these days, it's hard to focus on retirement planning and getting a sustainable income for life. But guess what? Pat is back with his popular live seminars, which you can attend free. They include a nice dinner and everything. The next ones are coming up in Berkeley at the Berkeley Doubletree Marina, Tuesday, April 26th or Thursday, April 28th at 6:30. That's Tuesday the 26th or Thursday the 28th, Berkeley Doubletree Marina. Just call to attend. 888-PLAN-WISE. That's 888-PLAN-WISE. Again, 888-PLAN-WISE.
Now it's time for last week's closer of the week. Presented by LiftMaster and R&S Door. Turn your garage into the envy of the neighborhood. Visit rsdoors.com.
The closer of the week is Klay Thompson, who made 16 field goals, including 7 triples. He had 41 points as the Dubs closed out the regular season with a win. For the first time this year. Play 41! Recently, my garage door opener was not working. I was in need of a closer. I was put in touch with R&S Doors, and they hooked me up with a brand new garage door opener from LiftMaster. With LiftMaster's MyQ connectivity, my garage door opener can be controlled right from my smartphone. You'll know when a door or gate has been left open and can close it with a tap, no matter where I am. Be one of the first 10 callers and receive 20% off a LiftMaster garage door opener when you purchase a premium garage door.
Call 1-800-FIX-A-DOOR. That's 800-FIX-A-DOOR. Or visit rsdoors.com. R&S Doors. Look for the red truck.
Matt Coker here from West Coast Men's Health. Guys, Viagra is not the answer for your problem. I know you think it is, but Viagra has horrible side effects, and for most men, the longer you're on it, the less it works. Viagra is not a curative medication. It's not fixing your problem. It's a Band-Aid for a shark bite. Acoustic wave therapy is the newest technology that can correct your problem, not just treat it. We can do something that no pill can do. We can restore your blood flow naturally. Get off Viagra today. Change your life like the thousands of men who already have, regardless of your age or your medical history. If you're tired of dealing with Peyronie's disease or erectile dysfunction, then call West Coast Men's Health today.
With offices in San Mateo and Sacramento, call 650-407-1168. That's 650-407-1168. 650-407-1168. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com. HSA cards welcome.
We have traffic and weather together at 1:28. Victor's in your local Honda dealers traffic center, starting things off in Hayward.
On 880 northbound, pockets of slow to heavy traffic just after Whipple Road as you leave the Union City area. All the way to A Street. After you pass that, it's a smooth ride at 238. Continuing all the way to Oakland. That's also looking really good. Looks like all the Caltrans sweepers that were in the northbound direction between High Street and I-80 have wrapped up, and they are off the highway. Traffic is moving very well. Coming into San Francisco, you are clearing at the speed limit. Leaving the city, that's a different story. That's on 101 northbound just after Cesar Chavez. You are definitely off and on the brakes all the way to Yerba Buena Island, heading on the lower deck on 80 eastbound. Your next traffic update at 1:38 on the traffic leader, KCBS.
KCBS forecast, that wind still with us, not quite as bad as yesterday, though not as gusty. Still there, temperatures mid-50s to low 60s, a clear night with lows back down to the 30s and 40s, and then partly cloudy tomorrow, highs in the 60s with a very light wind. Slight chance of rain in the evening, increasing after midnight. Traffic and weather together on the 8th on All News 106.9 and AM 740 KCBS.
Here at Total Wine & More, you'll find what you love and love what you find.
I'm looking for a whiskey that will blow my buddies away.
The Single Barrel Bourbon is a surefire hit.
Oh, yeah. Whoa, did you hear that? I feel like a rock star.
Well, finding this bottle at that price, you totally are. Find what you love
love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More. Pickup and delivery available at TotalWine.com. Drink responsibly. B21.
Brought to you by Capital One Shopping. Capital One Shopping instantly searches for available coupon codes and automatically applies them at checkout. Capital One Shopping. What's in your wallet? Savings and available coupons vary.
Sponsored by the San Francisco Bay Dream House Raffle. Win your dream house in wine country or $1 million. Details at ffraffle.com.
News that matters to you. Around the Bay, around the world, around the clock. All News 106.9 and AM 740. KCBS.
It is Tuesday, April 12th, 2022. Coming up on KCBS, how to plan for travel with the newest COVID variants, and who will be taking care of the feral cats that have invaded the Oakland Coliseum. Also, your library card will take you to more places than just the pages of a book. I'm Megan Goldsby. CBS News is next.
CBS News special report. Comedy legend Gilbert Gottfried has died.
I go to a doctor for a physical. The doctor says I've got awful news. You've got cancer and you've got Alzheimer's. He goes, thank God I don't have cancer.
Gottfried, also well known for playing the voice of Aladdin.
Excellent work, Iago.
Go on.
Really, on a scale of 1 to 10, you.
Oh, Jafar, you're too kind. I'm embarrassed. I'm blushing.
With more on Gottfried's career, here's CBS's Allison Keene. Gottfried had roles in many films and voiced a parrot in Disney's Aladdin. His family says in addition to being the most iconic voice in comedy, Gottfried was a wonderful husband, brother, friend, and father. And says he's back in the world.
Now being closely watched by the World Health Organization. They are BA4 and BA5, and so far the cases have been isolated to South Africa, Botswana, and parts of Europe. As KCBS reporter Holly Kwan tells us, some experts say living with COVID also means knowing what your risks are if you travel where infection rates are high. It wasn't that long ago when BA2 was just being discovered, and now it's dominant across the U.S. Now only a few dozen cases of BA4 and BA5. Dr. Peter Chin Wong is professor of medicine at UCSF and our guest on Ask an Expert. He says while some countries' vaccines are not as effective as the ones approved in the U.S., shouldn't necessarily stop you from visiting.
One of the reasons why it's thought that China is having such a huge surge now is because they primarily use the Sinopharm and Sinovac vaccines, which are not mRNA, so they aren't as effective, and also they haven't immunized as much of the elderly population as we have. So looking at what's going on again in the destination country, like the weather report, is probably better, but also thinking about the vaccine is another factor as well.
KCBS. Good news, California's latest flu season was once again unusually mild, but health experts say we could see a surge in late spring now that people are taking fewer precautions against COVID-19. Infections are ramping up more than usual for this time of the year in some parts of the country. California has seen 4 influenza outbreaks and 3 dozen deaths. The start of the flu season in early October. Now experts are warning that as people resume their pre-pandemic activities like eating inside restaurants or going back to the office, flu and similar illnesses could stage a comeback. UCSF infectious disease expert Dr. Peter Home says it's easier to avoid catching the flu when you're protecting yourself against COVID, washing your hands and wearing a mask. The Oakland Coliseum is a group of feral cats who've grown too large for comfort. CBS reporter Bob Butler says the Coliseum Authority is reluctantly working on a humane plan to reduce the number of felines on the property.
There are 3 or 4 dozen cats living on the Coliseum grounds. Nobody put out water for them, but the cats certainly feed themselves.
We have not seen a rat or a mouse. So they have really done an excellent job.
Authority Executive Director Henry Gardner calls themselves in general the cat is proof, which he says leaves them on inactive status.
We need to figure out a humane way to reduce the population because they are feeding plankton.
Working with Open Animal Services, Andy A. will maybe having an adoption night for kittens at his Trump just says the Ukraine may have been better off keeping its head down, growing its economy, and maintaining neutrality as a way to diffuse the situation on the border.
Weather together in 2 minutes.
Paul McCartney is coming to Buffalo Arena on May 8th, and KCBS Radio has your chance to win tickets. Head to kcbsradio.com/contest to enter.
Listen carefully. If you currently have a COVID infection or think you might, go to the website www.treatmycovid.com right now to see if you qualify for COVID treatment will be mailed directly to study participants. If you have COVID or think you might, see if you can join the study by going to the website www.treatmycovid.com. Study participants must have a smartphone or tablet with a reliable internet connection. There is no charge to participate in the study, and you can do all study visits from the comfort of your own home. So if you currently have a COVID infection or think you might, go to the website to see if you can participate in the study. Go to www.treatmycovid.com. www.treatmycovid.com. That's www.treatmycovid.com.
Our first for traffic at 1:38. Victor in your local Hobby Dealers Traffic Center taking us to Crash in San Mateo.
Yeah, this is on Highway 92 in the eastbound direction. This traffic report is brought to you by MB Jesse Painting. It's right at El Camino Real. It sits in the center divide. From what I can see on the cameras here, it looks like CHP is already on scene, so that's what's slowing quite a bit of people down. By the time you get past El Camino Real, you are clearing at the speed limit all the way to Highway 101. And if you continue on Highway 92 eastbound to the San Mateo Bridge, that actually looks like a nice ride all the way into the Hayward area. In the East Bay, also right around after you leave the Antioch area, right after Summersville Road, is the crash at the center divide before you even get to Loveridge Road. There's a small stretch of slow traffic. By the time you get to Loveridge Road, it looks like you'll be clearing at the speed limit as you continue on Highway 4 in the westbound direction all the way to Compton. It looks like a very smooth ride. And on the East Shore Freeway, still looking at heavy traffic. That's on 80 westbound from right around Golden Gate Field to the 880-580 interchange. Are you a commercial property owner or manager working on 2022 painting plans? The MB Jesse Painting offers full repaint, maintenance, painting, and carpentry, and wood rot repairs. Why wait? Call 855 at MB Jesse today or online at mbjesse.com. Your next traffic update at 1:48 on the traffic leader, KCBS.
KCBS forecast, sunny spring afternoon, pretty breezy out there, not as bad as yesterday. Temperatures 50s to low 60s, a clear, cold night, followed by a cloudy day tomorrow. That's because we have another rain system heading into the Bay Area. Expected to start up after midnight, around midnight tomorrow, and continue through the rest of the week. Weather together on the 8th, and all news 106.9 at AM 740 KCBS.
Very few things are impossible.
I have something that's impossible.
Okay, tell it.
Having a big event and not creating a pile of junk.
Okay, but it's easily fixable.
Oh, I get it. All I have to do is point.
All you have to do is point.
Junk from a party or celebration or holiday.
Junk from moving in or from moving out of a new place.
Make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOTJUNK.com.
It's easy to think all money managers are pretty much the same, but at Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
Different how? You sell high commission investment products, right?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission-based investment products.
Unless your commission's on the trade.
No, never at Fisher. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in our client's best interest. It's the highest standard of care for a financial advisor.
How do you know what's in their best interest?
We get to know our clients and then tailor a portfolio based on their goals and needs.
You probably sneak in some hidden and layered fees.
No, we have one transparent management fee, structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, you really do look out for your clients.
That's because our top priority is helping them achieve a
actually check out a state park pass to go check out one of more than 200 state parks that are participating in the program.
It sounds like it's just like checking out a book.
Exactly the same. You check out the physical pass in the rearview mirror, and then you have access to the park for the time that you have the pass.
If I don't get that book back in time, there's an overdue bombing. Is such a thing exist for the
Probably. There are about over 1,100 local libraries in California. Each has kind of their own policies in terms of how long you can have the pass before you need to return it. But that's just like a library book. You return it so that others can use it.
Yeah, not all state parks are participating. Angel Island, Monterey, Sonoma, Pacifica State Park, not on the library card list. Jim Taylor, KCBS.
MSNBC's Rachel Maddow has some good news and bad news for her fans. She returned yesterday from a 2-month hiatus and will work her 5-night schedule for the rest of the month. But starting in May, MSNBC's most popular personality says she'll be on TV only one night a week on Mondays. The other nights, MSNBC will rotate in guest hosts. Maddow does say that for big news events in the weeks leading up to the midterm election, she will work. CBS News Time 142. We have sports coming right up.
You're the one who protects the flock, and that requires an eye for detail. Because when safety and well-being are on the line, it's the details that can save lives. Even when no one else is watching, you see everything. Granger gets you, and we're here for you, and all the ones who get it done with a wide range of safety products and solutions, plus board-certified safety consultants here to answer your questions. Call Granger.com or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done. Membership numbers at Slide's Gym have been racking up.
22 people have signed up for 6 a.m. Brothers Day.
Now he needs more certified trainers to do all the heavy lifting.
I'm gonna have to bump up my staff.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Man, I love my kids so much. I once sat for 3 hours in the cold rain to watch her soccer team lose by 18 goals.
I love my kids so much. I once used it too. I never stuffed nose at 3 a.m. You win.
Love your kids? Love them enough to make sure they're in the right car seat. From toddlers to tweens, visit NHTSA.gov/the-right-seat to find the right seat for their age and size. Keep them safe. Visit NHTSA.gov/the-right-seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Ahead on KCBS, our Tech Watch report, Etsy sellers protesting an increase in fees. And for your sports report, here's Ted Rage.
Not many highlights for the Giants last night in front of a very sparse crowd at Oracle Park. In the windiest game at Oracle Park in recent memory, Mike Yastrzemski made one of the most remarkable catches in Oracle Park history, running headfirst towards the wall in foul territory along the first base side. Reactions from Wayne Kuiper and Mike Frucco on NBC Sports Bay Area say it all.
Yastrzemski's going to give chase, so will Belt. And he has it, gonna slide, and he makes the catch! Unbelievable!
Might be one of the best we've ever seen.
Problem was not defense or pitching last night. Starter Alex Wood went 4 in the third inning, giving up 2 runs while striking out 6. He too had praise for Yaz's catch.
Pretty good catch, yeah. I think he must have just loved it. It's a pretty good place, man. You know, anytime you have defense like that out there, you just take your catch. So, they play him in the big spot, so hopefully there's more of that too.
The issue for the Giants is that they can't get their offense going. 1 run in the second, 1 run in the sixth, which tied the game last night at 2, but that was all they could do. Padres added a run in the 7th and a run in the 9th to win by a final 2, dropping the Giants to 2-2 on the year. Games, the Giants' production not been their opening day was nice, 6 runs. In the following 3 games, they've only scored 6 runs combined. It's not going to get it done. Sports Desk, Ted Ramey, KCBS.
Did you know that with Xfinity Internet, you get fast, reliable speeds to fit your needs and budget? Even Wi-Fi speeds faster than a gig to power all of your devices. Now just imagine, everyone at home can connect at the same time. Best of all, you can save up to $400 a year on your wireless with Xfinity Mobile. Now that's a hit. See your internet demand? Get Big Speed Internet now for just $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 1-year contract. When you so go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today to learn more.
have everything they need to select the most beautiful stones. And destinations, experience, natural light, and an eye for when you shop with us, we want you to also have everything you'll need to select your diamond. That's why we sell our diamonds loose. We're the first jeweler in America to sell loose stones. To choose a diamond, ruby, or sapphire like this, you need to see the entire stone from every angle before set into your jewelry. We provide everything you need to properly evaluate and compare stones, tools, correct lighting, and the knowledge. Visit us in San Mateo, Walnut Creek, or in Cupertino, where we've moved to a new location just 2 miles south of Stevens Street Boulevard. Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company, ShaneCo.com.
The city and county of San Francisco has over 3,800 unfilled jobs. It's time for the mayor to staff up San Francisco. Join the campaign to make our city work for everyone. Staff up at SAP.org. This message was paid for. 148, we have a car fire in San Jose. Here's Victor.
And it's causing quite a bit of a slowdown. 101 southbound to Shreveport is brought to you by Dolan Law Firm. Just after Blossom Hill Road, it looks like they just cleared it out of lanes, which is a good thing. Fire has been put out, but you're still very slow from before Blossom Hill Road, so expect delays through there. Dolan Law Firm representing people injured by the fault of others and by unlawful workplace discrimination and harassment. With offices throughout the Bay Area and LA, Dolan Law Firm is fighting justice. DolanLawFirm.com. Your next traffic update at 1:58 on the traffic leader, KCBS.
Time for your KCBS meteorologist, Eric.
A breezy Tuesday afternoon, nothing compared to the windy Monday with over 50-mile-an-hour gusts. Today it's more like 20 to 25, and even at that, that's meters of water to feel that. So, typical breezy winds today. It's slightly more gloomy in the upper 50s in the Bay, low 60s inland. Next chance of rain gets you late Wednesday night into Thursday morning. It's going to be a rainy commute Thursday. A tenth, 2/10 of an inch of rain once again, and then another system comes in late Friday into Saturday morning. We pick up about another tenth of an inch of rain there. Clear it all out, warm back up to average by Easter Sunday. I'm meteorologist Aaron Peck with your KPIX 5 KCBS forecast.
Your temperatures for today, San Jose looking at 59 this afternoon, Fremont coming in at 58, Santa Rosa 60, San Francisco 56. Traffic and weather together on the 8th on all news 12 side and 740.
CBS News special report. The motive remains a mystery, but not the chaos of gunmen in a gas mask call-up on a morning rush hour subway train in Brooklyn. WCBS reporter Steve Bird with New York Police Commissioner Keyshawn Sewell.
Police had no information on how the suspect may have escaped.
As a male black, about 5 inches tall with a heavy build. He was wearing a green construction type vest and a hooded sweatshirt the color of gray.
And the search is now expanded. Police looking for a U-Haul truck with a specific Arizona license plate number. In Iowa, President Biden.
Jill and I are grateful for injured and all those touched by that trauma.
And also expressing gratitude to first responders. CBS News special report. I'm Tom Foley.
KCBS News Time 1:51. That means time for our Tech Watch report with CNET reporter Abrar Al-Hiti. Thank you for joining us. So we're starting off with Etsy here. Sellers are protesting that fees are going up even as Etsy's been making more money in the pandemic. Just how much are they going up?
They're going up from 5% to 6.5% of sales. So each time they make a sale, they'll now have to pay a little bit more to the company.
Okay, that can make a big difference when you have your own company. I understand they're maybe talking about unionizing now to fight something like this.
Right, and a lot of them have kind of binded together, so they have a petition where over 66,000 sellers have now asked the CEO of Etsy to change this policy, especially because Etsy has made a lot of money during the pandemic, especially after acquiring another e-commerce platform called Elo7.
Yeah, I'm thinking a lot of people end up buying masks on Etsy. I was trying to think of another reason they would have gotten so popular during the pandemic, but either way, they have. Do you know how, what do you think their chances are? We've seen, more unions coming up this week, but Etsy is such an interesting one because people are so piecemeal. They may sell a few things here and there. Where do you think this is going to go?
Right, and I think a lot of these artists might depend on Etsy a lot. I'm not sure exactly where those efforts will go, but the fact that it's, we had when we initially reported the story, there were 15,000 signatures, and now it's at 66,000. And so the fact that people are without that is telling.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's pivot over to the Meta and monetizing its metaverse. So you'll be able to buy some things in the world, but they're only going to stay in one of the worlds, right? Explain that.
Right. So this is kind of an early effort for Meta to monetize its efforts in the metaverse. So they have a game called Horizon Worlds, and there's creators who build worlds within that. And so if you are in a creator's particular area, then you can buy something, like you can buy wings or you can buy a hat or whatever you need, but it won't cross over into other worlds within that game. So this is still very early, and maybe down the road, Meta will allow you to buy things that you can carry across worlds within the metaverse.
Going to do this, I could be looking at that and thinking, no, I guess I'll wait. I don't know how badly I need wings in this world.
And it's really interesting. I think, a lot of people who play video games will buy things that maybe somebody like me would think, why would you buy something virtually? But it is something that people do, and I think as the metaverse becomes, more mainstream, maybe we'll see more of that.
And then lastly, Tesla opening up its Roadster reservations, but you have to put down $50,000. I understand it's not clear if you would get all of that back if it doesn't materialize. Is that true?
Exactly. So you would have to pay $5,000 via credit card in the beginning, and then within 10 days you would have to send over $45,000. So now you've paid $50,000, and we have no idea when the Roadster will become available, how long this wait list is. So there's a lot of questions surrounding this.
Do you know if people are doing it yet? Is there any revealing of how many people might be on that list?
So Tesla doesn't have a PR department to ask these questions, and so I think it'll be a lot of word of mouth. Keep an eye on Twitter.
I love how many things we're speculating about throwing money out into the world and seeing what happens. People have different problems than I do. I can tell. Thanks so much for that. CNET reporter Abrar Al-Kiki. It is time for our Money Market report.
Inflation hasn't been this bad since 1981. Government says consumer prices in March jumped 8.5% from a year ago, raised pressure on the Fed to boost interest rates even more aggressively. Stocks were higher for a while on hopes that inflation may be peaking. Prices were lower for a while. Dow dropped 88, S&P fell 15, the Nasdaq sank 40. Calling it an out-of-control repeat offender, government regulators are suing the TransUnion Credit Bureau. Lawsuit accuses the company of disregarding a 2017 agreement to end the sale and marketing of dubious credit-related products. Add Yelp to the list of companies offering to cover travel costs for employees who need to leave their home state to get an abortion. Citigroup and Apple previously added similar benefits. Yelp has nearly 4,000 U.S. workers. Larikowski, Bloomberg Business for KCBS.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you, it finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
Dreaming of a way to make the most of your yard this summer, it's time to be
subject to credit approval. See website for details. Contractor's license 661575.
Traffic and weather together at 1:58. Your local Honda dealer's traffic center is where we find Victor starting things off here in San Francisco.
On 101 northbound, just as you transition to 80 eastbound, headed to the lower deck of the Bay Bridge, you're still going to be under the speed limit, although the bridge work picked up early, so that is out the way. All lanes are now open on the lower deck of the Bay Bridge, but you're still going to be slow to right around the Yerba Buena Island. From that point forward, it's a smooth ride into the East Bay. Speaking of the East Bay, still looking at slow traffic on the East Shore Freeway, but then again, what else is new in that area just after Golden Gate Field, as you pass the Albany area to Berkeley from St. Gilman Street all the way to the 880 interchange on 80 westbound. You are definitely off and on the brakes. As you transition to southbound 880 or eastbound 580 from downtown Oakland, that actually looks like a very smooth ride all the way to San Leandro. Your next traffic update at 2:08 with Kim Minnesota, the traffic leader, KCBS.
Your KCBS forecast is sunny and breezy afternoon. We have winds not quite as high as what we saw yesterday. Temperature still cool though, mid-50s, low 60s. We have a clear night ahead, and then we start to cloud up tomorrow. That's when we start to see a chance of rain develop. That starts tomorrow evening and really picks up after midnight. We expect to have a rainy commute for your Thursday morning. Traffic and weather together on KCBS. It is Tuesday, April 12th, 2022. Coming up on KCBS. I'm Marty Schaefer in San Francisco. There's an increased police presence on BART trains following the New York subway shooting.
Collaborative effort with our employees, our ridership. This is Matt Ziegler. Inflation is now the highest it's been in 4 decades. War in Ukraine is not helping us at all.
Comedian Gilbert Gottfried, known for his distinct and recorded, has died. And for Rebecca Kraut, I'm Megan Holtby, CBS News. When you need to know, KCBS AM, KFRC FM, and HD1, San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose, and Odyssey Station. 2 o'clock.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Linda Kenyon in Washington. Comedian Gilbert Gottfried has died.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you can hear the sound of my voice.
Former CBS Radio Entertainment correspondent Bill Bergoli was a longtime personal friend of Gottfried's who says he will be remembered for his raw, scorched voice, his bird jokes, as well as other voice work.
He pushed the limits of comedy with his abrasive voice and his off-the-wall anecdotes, and his jokes were filthy most of the time, but you could also listen to his acting. He'd be incredibly clean, just weird.
Gilbert Gottfried died of a heart illness. He was 67 years old. New York City police are searching for a masked gunman who opened fire on a subway car, injuring at least 16 people.
I'm Matt Piper in Brooklyn, New York. It was the morning rush on the New York City subway when chaos erupted. A man first threw a smoke bomb type device into a subway car, then began shooting at people inside the subway and on the platform. 10 people were shot, but in all, 29 were hurt.
I was in the train station minding my own business when I heard,
Now, a manhunt is underway for the gunman, who police believe may be using a U-Haul box truck. Found at the scene a semi-automatic handgun, as well as gas canisters and a smoke grenade.
President Biden commented on the New York City subway shooting.
we're great. All first responders jumped in action, including civilians. Civilians who didn't hesitate to help their fellow passengers who tried to shoot them.
The president was speaking at an event in Menlo, Iowa, where he has been addressing the high cost of fuel and what to do about it. With more on those high prices on fuel and pretty much everything else, here's CBS's Jill Schlesinger.
Energy prices have led the way, up 32% from a year ago. All parts of the energy business are being affected. Gasoline up 48%. Fuel oil up 70%.
Did Russia use chemical weapons in Mariupol, Ukraine? Pentagon spokesman John Kirby isn't sure.
Just are not able to confirm it. We're obviously taking it seriously, and we're monitoring it. We're trying to do the best we can to figure out what, if anything, happens.
It will soon be a felony to perform an abortion in Oklahoma. Republican Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt signs an abortion ban into law.
We want Oklahoma to be the most pro-life state in the country.
It takes effect 90 days after the legislature adjourns next month, and the only exception for an abortion to be performed is to save the mother's life. Abortion rights advocates say it's unconstitutional and likely to face a legal challenge. Jennifer Kuiper, CBS News. That's CBS's Jennifer Kuiper, and this KCBS News.
Get CBS News Radio on the Odyssey app. All the audio that matters to you is on Odyssey. News, music, sports, and podcasts. Download the Odyssey app today.
It's 2:03 at the Bay Area's news station KCBS. It's cool and breezy along this water this afternoon, but not nearly as windy as yesterday. Good afternoon. I'm Patty Rising.
I'm Chris Carlo in for Jeff Bell.
Here's what's happening.
Bay Area transit systems have stepped up security in the wake of the shooting on the New York subway system. The New York shooting appears to be isolated, and there are no threats to Bay Area transit. KCBS's Marky Schaefer reports from the Powell Street BART station in San Francisco, where BART police chief has stressed the importance of the community as a partner.
Following the Brooklyn subway shooting, BART police are on heightened alert.
What we did this morning is we increased our presence in our system. So every man and woman who's wearing a BART police uniform is out in the system this morning. And we'll continue to do that. This is in addition to what we do on a day-to-day basis.
That's BART Police Chief Ed Alvarez, who says he and his deputy chief are also out riding the train. There are still 25 openings on the BART police force, and they're looking to hire. Stresses the community as a partner in keeping transit safe.
Collaborative effort with our employees, our ridership, and the police department to go out there and try to make this system as safe as it can be. And that's by reporting incidents. When they see something, say something.
An extensive digital camera system is in working order on the system.
We have well over 4,000 working cameras in our system that we use as an investigative tool, and it's helped solve a lot of crimes and a lot of incidents that have happened in our system.
BART has a full-time video recovery unit to help solve crimes. Marty Schaefer, KCBS. Mayors from across the country, including Oakland's Libby Schaaf, joined police chiefs and federal officials at the White House when President Biden announced a new law to crack down on ghost guns. KCBS's Liz St. John tells us what they are saying today.
President Biden unveiled a new rule to rein in so-called ghost guns by making it illegal for businesses to make gun kits without serial numbers and for licensed dealers to sell them without a background check. David Mohammed, executive director of the National Institute for Criminal Justice Reform in Oakland, was at the event.
Many of my colleagues around the country who lead community violence intervention work were very excited about this increased attention and resources on reducing gun violence.
Will getting rid of ghost guns change the number of gun crimes?
What it will change is just the amount of guns out there, and that is a big significant issue. We must reduce the flow of guns, the sheer volume.
The upbeat White House event has him looking forward to working collaboratively to reduce gun violence.
It did have a celebratory and an optimistic feel to it.
Liz St. John, KCBS.
Well, if your wallet is feeling lighter than usual these days, you're not alone. As KCBS's Matt Bigler reports, everything from a gallon of gas to a bag of groceries is costing more as inflation keeps going up.
Tracy Slay has a unique perspective on consumer prices. She drives RVs cross-country, delivering them to dealerships.
Oh, I love it. I love it. What have you seen in terms of the price of gas, the price of everything right now?
Over there, you're talking about $3.83. So we're here, we're at $5.85. So you're talking about $2 difference.
Comparing California to the rest of the nation, but she's also seen food prices going up everywhere.
For me, being a single person, it's cheaper for me to eat in the restaurant than it is to buy fresh groceries because they're so expensive.
Virtually everything is more expensive. The latest consumer price index went up 8.5% last month, the sharpest increase in 40 years. But Leah Hartman, chair of accounting, finance, and marketing at the University of New Haven, says it's not all gloom and doom. The unemployment rate is down and salaries are rising.
We have a great, strong economy. We just don't have smooth sailing right now. We're in some rough waters.
She says the Federal Reserve may try to contain inflation by raising interest rates even faster than expected. In the East Bay, Matt Bigler, KCBS.
Just a hat on KCBS?
I'm Bob Butler at the Coliseum in Oakland, which has a problem and blessing.
We have not seen a rat or a mouse in almost 2 years.
And we'll start your afternoon traffic watch with Kim Vestal, who is looking at a car fire in San Jose.
A car fire that is now out, so that's good news. This update is brought to you by Hint Water. It was backing up traffic in South San Jose, 101 southbound as you pass the 85 interchange. There might still be some activity on the shoulder of the road, but the lanes are clear. And I'm looking at freeways throughout the Santa Clara Valley right now. Nothing else in your way. Traffic is light. That includes Highway 17 in the Santa Cruz Mountains, and your ride into Morgan Hill, San Martin, Gilroy on 101 there is moving well at the speed limit. Peninsula, we had one problem backing up traffic on 92 eastbound San Mateo. This was a crash at El Camino Real. Just cleared that one. 101 and 280 along the peninsula also moving well with no new incidents. Emeryville, we have the Chilton Autobody collision cam tracking a crash eastbound 80 before Powell Street. Two cars, they have cleared the cars to the right-hand shoulder, but it really is starting to bunch up there. No problems on the Bay Bridge coming or going from the East Bay. Hint is pure water infused with surprisingly true fruit flavors, including watermelon, blackberry, and cherry. No sugar, no sweeteners, no calories. Available in your local grocery store or at drinkhint.com. Hint, water with a touch of true fruit flavor. Next, update 218 on the traffic leader, KCBS.
Well, temperatures are still on the cool side this afternoon. It is breezy as well near the coast and bay, but nothing like yesterday. We're talking 20 to 25 miles per hour gusts. That's about half of what they were yesterday. We're seeing highs just a tad warmer than yesterday, mid-50s, low 60s. Another round of rain comes in late tomorrow night into the Thursday morning commute. Traffic and weather together on the 8th on All News 106.9 and AM 740 KCBS.
Did you know that 1 out of 4 men suffer from ED and low T? Prime Male Medical has the solution. Listen to Dr. Robert Rowley from Prime Male Medical.
At Prime Male Medical, we have virtually every medication known to man to help men. We specialize in treatments for ED and low T, and we have a 99% success rate. Most incidence problems can be treated in just one visit.
At Prime Male Medical, their mission is to provide you the medical care you need for improved performance.
We offer a variety of treatments, including high-dose sublingual lozenges, ultrasound-based shockwave therapy, and injectable therapy. We can also treat testosterone issues when needed.
Prime Male Medical in the East Bay and San Francisco. Get your customized evaluation for just $99, which covers a full year of free visits, including a PSA test, testosterone test, and a Doppler ultrasound. Call now, 415-761-4037, or go to primemalemedical.com. That's 415-761-4037.
Hi, this is George with New Life Property Investments, and I buy houses in cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 925-490-2000. I can pay cash and close in as little as 3 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and any location in the San Francisco Bay Area. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy yours. I buy inherited houses, divorced houses, behind in payment houses, and I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you have a house that is trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying fixer-uppers too. I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and foreclosure houses. If you or someone you know is looking to sell their house and want to sell it fast, call me at 925-490-2000. That's 925-490-2000, 925-490-2000.
Breaking news on the Bay Area's news station, KCBS.
We are getting late word out of New York via the Associated Press. A law enforcement source telling the news agency the NYPD has located that U-Haul van sought in the Brooklyn shooting. Bomb squad is on the way. Streets are cordoned off. We're going to have more from CBS News coming your way at 2:20.
A feral cat colony has grown too large at the Oakland Coliseum. KCBS's Bob Butler says the Coliseum Authority is now working on a plan to humanely capture the cats and relocate them off-site.
There are 3 or 4 dozen cats. They've been useful. We have not seen a rat or a mouse in almost years. So they have really done an excellent job. But it's time now to return some of them, put some of them in inactive duty status. Authority Executive Director Henry Gardner looks on the cats as his feline security force. We've been working with the Oakland Animal Control Department to come up with a plan, and a long one, for how we thin the population, but do that humanely. Animal Services Director Ann Dunn.
It's really about keeping a small population on the property that are spayed and neutered, and we'll kind of hold the territory, and then we're obviously focusing on spay neuter for the cats on the outside of that as well.
On that, she and Gardner agree.
Our intent is not to get rid of all of them. Then when the cat's away.
In Oakland, Bob Butler, KCBS.
We are 2 minutes away from the KCBS Sports Line. Kevin has an update on Steph Curry's status for Game 1 of the playoffs.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was headed way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-298-3904. 800-298-3904. 800-298-3904. Optima Tax Relief. Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Peoplebygov.com. Have you heard? The United States Mint has issued a Morgan silver dollar for the first time in 100 years. Not only that, but they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Millions of Morgan silver dollar buyers need this coin. However, most won't get one. These Morgan silver dollars are brand new, bright and shiny legal tender coins minted by the iconic Philadelphia Mint. Just call GovMint at 1-800-495-MINT and you are guaranteed a new 99.9% pure silver Morgan dollar. The first time in history this has happened, but with limited quantities, you must call now to order. To learn more, call 1-800-495-6468. If you order now, you will receive a free collector bonus, a $25 value free with every order. Call 1-800-495-MINT now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-495-6468.
Coming up on KCBS, if you are just joining us, police say they have found an unoccupied U-Haul van that may be connected to this morning's subway shooting. We're going to have the latest from CBS News in less than 5 minutes. KCBS News Time, 2:15.
Time to check at the KCBS Sports Desk and Kevin Radich. The Nuggets tip off against the Warriors on Saturday. Is Steph going to be there?
Well, it looks like there's a good chance he has a shot at playing in that game because the left foot rehab is going well, progressing well. He will have to get in a scrimmage before returning to the lineup. That from Steve Kerr. Curry's going to ramp up activity at practice beginning tomorrow, and there's a scrimmage planned for Thursday. So if Steph plays in that scrimmage and comes out of it feeling good, there's a good chance he could play on Saturday night against Denver. That'd be great news. Phoenix Suns coach Monty Williams has been named Coach of the Year for the second straight season in a vote of his peers. The Suns finished with a franchise best record of 64-18, the best in the NBA. Play-in games begin tonight. Cleveland at Brooklyn at 4 in the 7-8 matchup in the East, followed by a 7-8 matchup in the West. The Clippers at Minnesota. By the way, the Nets players were stunned this morning with the news of that shooting at the Brooklyn subway about 2 miles from the Barclays Center. In all, 17 people were injured when a person wearing a gas mask and an orange construction vest opened fire. Here's Kevin Durant.
Yeah, but the sirens are talking about absolutely see so much commotion going on outside. Hope we pray that for the best of everybody involved.
Durant to the Nets, the gunman at large. We'll have an update coming up in a few minutes. Baseball, the A's have Adam Boiler on the mound in Tampa Bay at 3:40, and the Giants send out Alex Cobb against the Padres at the ballpark at Willie Mays Plaza at 6:45. That's the Sports Desk. Kevin Radich, KCBS.
You realize when we're buying a timeshare and worn out, you need my help. Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial. 10 years ago, I started the timeshare cancellation industry by exposing the ugly truth about timeshare and giving folks straight facts. I've been fighting the timeshare giants ever since. No one knows this industry better than me and my team. Today, we have 383 employees and have saved our clients an average of $65,000 in lifetime payments. morning message. Your main speed will never go low. Come on. And I guarantee if we take you as your client, we will cancel your timeshare or we will pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-330-6363. 800-330-6363. 800-330-6363.
As a B Corporation, Fetzer Wines has the responsibility to do better. So Fetzer Wine will plant a tree for every bottle sold. That's right, one bottle, one tree. Here's to tomorrow. You'll find Fetzer at Safeway, Rite Aid, Rayleigh's, or State Mart. Please drink responsibly. Fetzer Vineyards, Hopkins, Mendocino County, California.
KCBS News Time 218, time for traffic and weather together, sponsored by Fetzer Vineyards. And let's go to Kim in the traffic center.
Let's go to the Nimitz Freeway, the East Bay, looking at traffic starting to crowd up in both directions of 880. The good news is no accidents. There is heavy traffic already for your northbound ride on 880, starting right around Whipple Road, Union City to 8th Street in Hayward. Southbound is slow between Highway 92 and Whipple Road, but accident-free. And no incidents or delays on the San Mateo Bridge or the Dumbarton Bridge, not as windy, so folks were really getting knocked around there yesterday at this time. And we've also got no slowing yet on the Sunol grade, so if you're about to hit the road, maybe leaving Fremont on northbound 680 for your trip up and over the grade into Pleasanton, that looks like a very fine incident-free ride, nothing in your way at all. And 580 up ahead through Livermore and the Altamont Pass, so far so good. Your next update at 2:28 on the traffic leader, KCBS. Temperatures remain below average. It's cool. It's breezy near the water with highs mid-50s to low 60s. Another round of rain is going to come in late tomorrow night into Thursday morning. Widespread rain for the Thursday morning commute. Temperatures staying below average. Then we have another chance of rain late Friday into Saturday morning. Then it should turn sunny for Easter Sunday with temperatures rebounding to around average. That means low to mid-60s. Traffic and weather together on the 8th Tunnel, News 106.9 and AM 740 KCBS.
CBS News special report. A morning rush hour subway shooting in New York City has the attention of the President of the United States speaking in Iowa.
We're grateful for all the first responders who jumped into action, including civilians who didn't hesitate to help their fellow passengers.
Not after a gunman wearing a gas mask opened fire in a subway car in Brooklyn. Witness John Ramsey was nearby.
Having a coffee in a diner, and I saw people come streaming out of the train station in a terrified way. Some looked injured.
In fact, there were more than 15 hurt, 10 of them by gunshot, with 5 considered critical but stable. Late word from WCBS-TV in New York. Police have reportedly found a U-Haul truck they think is linked to the gunman who remains on the loose. He was dressed like a transit agency employee when he got into the subway car and started firing. Governor Kathy Hochul about mass shootings.
It has to end. It ends now. And we are sick and tired of reading headlines about crime, whether they're mass shootings.
CBS News special report. I'm Tom Pody.
And keep it tuned to KCBS. We're going to have more on this story at the bottom of the hour at 2:31.
Mexico's President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador won this Sunday's recall referendum, a vote that he called for himself. While 90% of the ballots were cast in his favor, low voter turnout means the result is not binding. For more, we're joined live on the KCBS Ring Central Newsline by Harley Shaken, Chair Emeritus of the UC Berkeley Center for Latin American Studies. And we appreciate your time today, Harley. So what's the point of this? What's the game here?
Well, I think it winds up being more symbol than substance. This is a new innovation by AMLO, the president of Mexico, and it's designed to show that he has a special and very close relation to the people. He set out a referendum in his presidency midway through the 6-year term. But the reality is the opposition chose to boycott this, and he campaigned very hard for Mexicans to go to the polls and vote in this referendum, and fewer than 18% turned out. Of that fewer than 18%, he won 90% of their votes, and polls show that he remains popular, but this has little meaning, but he has posed it as a democratic endorsement of what he's done and what he wants to do.
Are recall elections like this, I mean, when you look in the past, have they occurred then?
They've never taken place in Mexico before, so this is something new that he's introduced. basically to indicate that the people are still with him, and that's how he is using this. He is saying 15 million people voted to support me, but the reality is 80% of the eligible voters didn't go to the polls despite his urging them to do so. So it's unclear what it means, but he has used this in the past. The first referendum he used at the very beginning of his term, also he achieved, I think, something like a 90% enforcement in it on a new airport that he was proposing. And the reality is